Nothing in the world compares to sitting comfortably in your blanket at night and reading a horror book. And when it starts raining, the thunder adds so much more to the whole experience by frightening the reader out of their mind. Many may deem it as stupid, but the adrenaline junkie who loves reading knows the thrill is unparalleled. Horror books are a great way to spend your time, of course, if you are not afraid of the dark or get frightened easily. In that case, such books are a nightmare. But for everyone who loves reading, they are a great escape. Personally, I like horror books, but not the clutch ones with paranormal activity and a dumb blonde girl who walks right into danger. The real thrill of horror books comes when the smart character gets trapped and cannot find a way out of a situation. If you love reading such books, then I've got the perfect list for you, my friend. If you find this video helpful, don't forget to like, comment, and share. If you're new to this channel, hit the subscribe button and press the bell icon to never miss an update. Links to the books are given in the description below. Number 10. Frankenstein, the 1818 text by Mary Wollstonecraft Shelley. The name of Mary Wollstonecraft Shelley is associated with many books, essays, and short stories. The woman loved reading, writing, and traveling, but what she is most famous for is her book, Frankenstein. Frankenstein, the 1818 text, is the original book and the birth of the famous Halloween character Frankenstein. The story of this book revolves around a scientist, Victor Frankenstein, who is keen on creating an unorthodox creature through scientific experiments. But when he brings the creature to life, his experiments go wrong, which results in the birth of a monster. So when that monster steps out of the world, and his chances of acceptance are going to be very slim, his reaction will not be good. This book is the perfect horror for those who need the thrill without too much gory stuff. Number 9. Ghost Story by Peter Straub. Being a reading fan, Straub loved everything that came with words written on it. This led to him discovering his love for writing and giving us many amazing novels. The Ghost Story is one of the many novels by Peter Straub. The plot of this book is about 4 old friends, Frederick, Sears, John, and Lewis. Despite their old age, these 4 friends make time for each other in their lives. After the death of their mutual friend, their bond grew even stronger. However, there is an event from their young days that will come back to bite them. And when it comes in the form of a ghost that nobody can see, the lives of these 4 will change forever. It starts haunting them through nightmares and hallucinations, and only wants one thing from them: revenge. How are they supposed to fight something they can't even see? Word of advice: make sure to turn on the lights before you start reading this book. Number 8. Bird Box by Josh Malerman. Josh Malerman has written quite a few books in his life, but the one that earned him the title of a famous author is Bird Box. If the man is not busy writing a book, then he will be found with his head buried in a notebook writing songs. We all have heard the name Bird Box, thank you Sandra Bullock. But this amazing movie is based on a book, so if you are a reader, then you need to pick up this book. The story of this book takes place immediately after starting, when the world gets attacked by something evil. Nobody knows what it looks like, but they know one thing: if you look at it even for a second, it will drive you to your death. After 5 years of the arrival of this entity, a survivor, Mallory, along with 2 of her kids, decides it is time for her to step up and seek shelter in a safe house. The problem is, the only way to the safe house involves going through a 20-mile journey on a boat, with blindfolds on. As they say, when you lose one sense, it heightens your other senses. So when Mallory senses something following them, she cannot tell if it is the evil entity, a human, or a monster. Number 7. The Haunting of Hill House by Shirley Jackson. One of the most popular writers of her time, Shirley Jackson wrote countless books of different genres. The reason behind the peak of her writing career is the fact that the woman weaved tales in such a captivating way that once you start reading, it gets hard to put the book down. The Haunting of Hill House is one of the famous horror shows, but instead of enjoying the story on Netflix, pick up the book to enjoy it in the words of Shirley Jackson. When 4 people arrive at the notoriously haunted Hill House, they are in search of some evidence of paranormal activity. But their quest for evidence of paranormal activity will go south when the paranormal activity will target them directly. They do not know what the entities want from them, but it is not an entity but the house itself, and when it will gather all its power to make one of them its own, there will be no escape for these 4. Number 6. The Exorcist by William Peter Blatty. Besides being a filmmaker, William Peter Blatty also loved to write books in his free time. His fondness for books led him to write one of the greatest horror books of all time, The Exorcist. I refuse to believe that there is someone who has not heard the name of The Exorcist. Due to being adapted into a film, it is one of the most famous titles when it comes to the horror genre. The story of the book takes off when a divorced mother who is living with her 11-year-old daughter starts noticing changes in the behavior of her daughter, Regan. What started as episodes of spasms and convulsions changed into mutation and violent fits in no time, worrying her mother out of her mind. The plot thickens when the mother asks for the help of a priest who, after a single meeting with Regan, brings an exorcist of demons to the house. The book is truly scary and will have you jumping at every movement of your curtain, so pick it up only if you can handle level 10 horror. Number 5. Dracula by Bram Stoker. Bram Stoker, the pen name of Abraham Stoker, graduated from Dublin and published his first work on sensationalism of fiction and society. I'm not going to bore you with details, but this man is the reason we have spent our childhood with the character of Dracula. When Jonathan Harker finds a new client for himself, who needs his assistance with a house purchase in London, nothing seems amiss to him. However, the events that follow trouble the entire population of London, in fact, the entire England. A ship is found to be completely wrecked, and a woman wakes up with strange and unexplainable bite marks on her neck. Among these incidents, in a mental asylum, an inmate keeps talking about his master's arrival. The story is wonderfully written, and if you are a vampire fan, then you will hit jackpot with this book. Number 4. It by Stephen King. Stephen King is one of the best authors of all time in the mystery and horror genre. The man has written many amazing novels and books that are loved even by today's generation. The story of it may seem like a regular horror book involving ghosts haunting people in a small town, but trust me, this book will keep you hooked to it. It will also make you paranoid about clowns. The story involves 7 friends who accidentally stumble upon an evil entity residing in their town. A brother of one of the friends dies in the encounter, which causes the rest to flee town and vow to never look back. But years later, when one of the 7 friends, who still resides in the small town of Derry, asks them to return due to the fact that the disappearances of children have started again, they must go back and face what they once escaped from. There is no guarantee that they will be able to escape again, as one thing is for sure, even after all these years, Pennywise has not forgotten about the kids who escaped his clutches. Number 3. House of Leaves by Mark Z. Danielewski. This American author loves fiction, which is explained by his countless contribution to the genre. He started his career with an editor job that paved his way into the world of writing. One of his famous writing works is the book that we are going to talk about today. House of Leaves is not an ordinary horror book that you can find in a library. When a small family moves into a new town and a new house, they expect many things, but encountering an evil entity is not one of them. What does seem strange to them is the fact that on the outside, their house seems much smaller than its interior. But they do not pay much thought to that till one day their 2 kids wander off and are lost in the labyrinth of the house. That is not all. There is a strange closet door in the house that seems peculiar and also has something growing on the other side of it. So when Nevinson discovers a documentary about the house and he decides to explore the entire house, it may cost him everything. Trust me, this book will be one of your best reads from the horror genre. Number 2. The Shining by Stephen King. We all grew up reading the amazing books of Stephen King. After his family, the man loves writing more than anything, hence, has written and given us multiple short stories and novels that are unlike any other. The story of The Shining starts when Jack Torrance accepts the job of seasonal caretaker of an old hotel. The job of taking care of Overlook Hotel seems perfect to Jack as he gets a roof over his and his family's head, and will also be able to focus on his writings. However, there are entities residing in Overlook Hotel that are definitely not happy with their arrival. Unfortunately, Jack is unable to see or feel them, but his 5-year-old son Danny can see them, and he notices when the evil forces start gathering around them. So when the entities will possess the body of Jack, how will he keep his son safe and protected? And will he be able to get out of the hotel alive? Number 1. World War Z, an oral history of the zombie war by Max Brooks. If there is one thing that is even more terrifying than ghosts and vampires, it is zombies, and our dear author, Max Brooks, has a love for writing about these monsters. Aside from World War Z, he also wrote the Zombie Survival Guide. The last book that I have got for you is also one that you may have heard of or even seen as a movie. When a virus outbreak occurs in China, it affects people in the most horrible way and becomes the cause of the birth of undead creatures. When the zombies take over the entire world, and to fight them, the South African government hires Paul Rediker. His plan to fight off the zombies may work, but only if all forces and countries adapt their strategies according to the enemy. The story shows how Rediker launches his plan to fight off the zombies, and how people around the globe cope with the post-zombie apocalypse. In the genre of horror fiction, these were all of the books that I could find for you guys. They're everything a horror junkie needs, from monsters and ghosts to paranormal activity. You will find it all in the books shared in this video. If the video helped you find the next book you are going to read, then like and share this video. Let me know in comment section on what type of books I should cover in my next video. Also, if you read one of the book mentioned in this video, share your review or thoughts with us. Subscribe this channel for more such awesome videos. Thanks for watching.